Hello, welcome to our basic lightsaber training. This is going to go over the first basic steps of choreography for stage fighting that's normally used in movies, plays, and other such things. So, what we're going to first start with is our two different types of stance. We've got what's first known as a tightrope stance, which is what you most commonly see a fencer do. Okay? You're going to have one foot, your leading foot, in this case is my right, since I'm right-handed. If you're left, you might want to do it the other way. Leading with my left foot, my right arm cocked. So that way my elbow is below my ribs. So that way I've got extension on my arm. My feet, starting from this position, I'm going to step out. I'm going to step in and come down. I'm going to step out. I'm going to step in and come down. And this is going to be your tightrope shuffle. Okay? Now, if you want to cross over, something that they use a lot in Star Wars, you can step, come over, step again, come over, and same for the retreat. You're going to step back and follow with your leading foot. Step back and follow with your leading foot. So your leading foot is always pointing in the direction that your attack is going. And it's also important that when you come in, you're letting your leg hinge like this. You don't want to overstep that foot because you can sprain your ankle that way. Our next stance will be our railroad stance, where your feet are spread apart. This is normally for broadsword fighting, what you would use the lightsaber mostly. Also what you see in movies most commonly. Okay? Your broad steps back and forth, you're able to move your placement and go back and forth between a tightrope stance and a railroad stance and keep yourself centered. Another very important thing is to always keep your head above your shoulders. Even if you're ducking or going down, you want to keep your head up so that way you can keep your eye on your opponent or your partner and your balance is centered. Okay, the next part we're going to talk about in choreography is targeting. Okay, the same thing that you have in fencing, only in choreography your space is a little bit wider and you're not actually trying to hit the person. Anything in this area is considered your 1. Anything in this area would be considered your 2. Anything in this area would be considered your 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you break it off and you think of it as squares where you're in, or circles in those zones, wherever you're being attacked at, you're going to be able to block, which is known as a parry. Now another important thing here with your stance, you're going to want to bend your legs and make sure that you're always at a ready position. Okay? Now Jen, go ahead and face me. What she's going to do is she is going to come down, she's going to attack at my 1. And we are starting in a tightrope stance at on guard. And because we're using a broadsword, which is a lightsaber, we're going to step into our railroad stance. And we're going to be at a slightly off-centered on guard. She's going to come down, she's going to attack at my 1, and I'm going to step back and I'm going to block. And she's going to come in. She's attacking at a part of my body, and I'm moving that part of my body. So when I'm communicating to the audience, this is where I was, this is where her blade is, and I need to move out of the way. That way, your performance is convincing. So if she comes down, she attacks at my 1, and she comes back over and attacks at my 2, and she comes around and attacks at my 3. I put up a parry here. She comes back around the other side. I go to 4. And she comes over to 5. And then to 6. Now let's step back here. Face the camera. And we're going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you'll see each of these blocks. Go ahead and go to 1, Jen. Actually, face the camera and let's do it. Go to 1. There you go. See, if I'm coming in at her left leg, come over so that way you meet me. The other side. There you go. I am coming in at her left leg and she's able to take that hit. You're also going to notice the way your arms are. This is very important. Okay? We're creating a hinge here that we are able to move back and forth and take the shot from each other. Another important thing when using something, especially like a polycarbonate blade or anything in stage fighting is when you attack your opponent, you don't want to follow through and hit them. You want to go and drag your blade in front without actually hitting them. This is called having your hand in pronation and supination. Supination is when your hand is turned under and you are able to drag it through. Pronation is when you have it over and you're able to drag it through. You're literally making a fist at your opponent each time, and your blade is off to the side. So whether I come in for a thrust and she puts up a parry and blocks, my sword is already out to the side, so it's never going to hit her, but her block makes it look like she has pushed me away. I can come back in and hit that side. If I come in here, she can come down and block here, come over to the 2, and if I come in straight across like this, I'm never going to hit her. Come closer and just put your sword to your side. See, I can come up and get close to her, and by moving my body with my sword, it looks like I can come through and wham, I cut her in half. You don't want to ever follow completely through and hit your opponent. So pronation and supination is very important. You supinate when going to your opponent's right side, and you pronate going to their left side. And when you're blocking, you're putting your block straight up, straighten it out a little bit there. So that way she's really coming in and taking that hit from me, but I'm able to drag it off. The same thing applies to your top head blocks, your 5 and your 6. When I'm coming in, I'm letting that slide off. She's funneling me off so that way I'm not coming in, and once she's ready to pull back, I'm going to plonk her in the head. You don't want that. The more you accidentally hit your opponent, the less they're going to want to be able to spar and do stuff with you. Okay, now I'm going to show you those 6 target areas going through it in slow motion, and then we'll speed it up so that way you can see how this lays out. So Jen's going to come in, and we're in our tightrope stance, and because we're at the ready, I'm going to go to my railroad stance. She's going to come in and attack at my 1. Now I'm going to step back. She's going to swing that thing over and attack at my 2, and I'll step back. She's going to bring it up around, come in at my 3, same thing around to the other side for the 4, and then she's going to come down for a 5, and then for a 6. And this is where I can step out of the way and hang that off there, and she can go slide that down. Let's back up and we'll run through that just a little bit faster for everybody. Okay, come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Okay, now we're just reversed. I'm going to come in and attack on Jen, so that way you can see her doing the parry, and I'm going to do a little different things with my attacks here. So if I come in at the 1, and I come in at the 2, and I come in at the 3, then I can step, come around at the 4, I can come over for 5, and then come back, ramp it up to a 6. And see how dramatic that looks? See how the footwork is able to make it look like you're taking that hit, and you're able to displace the weight of what's coming at you. So let's go through that again. I'll come in at your 1, and at your 2,